Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. All thanks and praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and may His peace and blessings be upon His last and final messenger, His family, His companions, and those who follow them until the end of times. Welcome back to our journey through Surah Al-Mulk, 30 verses in 30 nights. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this effort of ours. May He place it on our scale of good deeds on the Day of Judgment, and may He make it a means of connecting our hearts and our minds to the Book of Allah. Today we're going to be looking at verse number 8. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير. Almost bursting in fury. Every time a group is cast into it, its keepers will ask them, did a warner not come to you? Now, the beginning of verse number 8 is a continuation of verse number 7. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is continuing to describe the anger, fury, and rage of hellfire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing hellfire with human-like qualities and characteristics. It almost bursts apart and separates out of rage and anger upon the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, some parts of it almost break apart from others due to the severity of its rage and anger with them. It's like hell is imploding. Right? It is almost as if hell is imploding and bursting apart, exploding out of fury and anger. The word غَيْظٌ in Arabic literally means rage, wrath, anger, fury. It is the most severe form of anger and the worst. Just like when someone's extremely angry, when they're boiling with anger, they will do anything and everything to harm the person they're angry with without thinking. Hell will bring harm to its inhabitants in every way possible. And as we covered in verse number 7, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is angry, is upset with those who refuse to believe in Allah. The entire creation, the entire universe, these creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become upset, they become angry at those who disbelieve. They are offended by this rejection of the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Maryam, تَكَادُ السَّمَاوَاتُ يَتَفَطَّرْنَ مِنْهُ وَتَنْشَقُّ الْأَرْضُ وَتَخِرُّ الْجِبَالُ هَدًّا أَنْ دَعَوْا لِلرَّحْمَنِ وَلَدًا وَمَا يَنْبَغِي لِلرَّحْمَنِ أَنْ يَتَّخِذَ وَلَدًا. It almost causes the heavens to be torn apart, the earth to split asunder, the mountains to crumble to pieces, that they attribute offspring to the All-Merciful. Meaning with human beings, particularly the mushrikun of Mecca, when they attribute partners to Allah, or when they claim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has offspring, has children, it almost causes the heavens to be torn apart, the earth to split asunder, the mountains to crumble to pieces. It's like when we react in shock, like, what in the world are you talking about? How can you make such a claim? How can you say such a thing? So when the heavens hear this, they were about to rupture and burst apart. The earth was on the verge of splitting. The mountains would crumble and collapse, turning to dust. They are offended, they are angered, they are enraged because they are the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is built upon the foundation of Tawheed, upon the foundation of recognizing, acknowledging, and accepting the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All created things in this universe are in total and complete submission to Allah, except those among mankind and jinn who refuse to do so. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma said, the heavens, earth, mountains, and all of creation are terrified and alarmed by shirk, except for mankind and jinn. Right? So تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ. Hellfire is almost bursting in fury because it is so upset and is so angry and it is so offended by disbelief. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us, كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ, that every time a group of non-believers is thrown into hellfire, سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا, its keepers will ask them, أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ, didn't a warner come to you? So the keepers of hellfire, which are angels, they are going to ask this rhetorical question to the non-believers that are being already humiliated. To add humiliation on top of humiliation, they will ask them this rhetorical question, that didn't a warner come to you? Didn't a messenger come to you who warned you about this day and this punishment? Didn't he recite the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you and warn you about the meaning of this day? Didn't he warn you about the consequences of rejecting the truth and following your desires? Nadhirun, a warner. And it's not just a warner. It is a warner who is warning his community with genuine concern and sincerity. A warner who's actually concerned for the salvation of his community. And that was one of the responsibilities of the Prophet ﷺ. He was a nadhir. He was sent to warn his community and all of mankind about punishment in the hereafter. And he warned them with genuine concern, with genuine sincerity. He wanted every single human being to be saved from eternal damnation. He wanted every single human being to be saved, to achieve salvation and everlasting bliss and happiness. Now, the keepers of hell, here they're called khazanatu. Right? They're known as khazanatu jahannam, the keepers of hellfire. These are a group of angels appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who never disobey Him. They do whatever He commands them to do. Just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا, that, O believers, O you who believe in Allah, the Messenger, the last day, guard yourselves, save yourselves, protect yourselves and your families against a fire. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةِ, fueled by people and stones. عَلَيْهَا مَلَائِكَةٌ غِلَاظٌ شِدَادٌ لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ, over which stand angels, stern and strong. Angels who never disobey Allah's commands to them, but do as they are ordered. And there are a total of 19 angels, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Muddathir. سَأُصْلِيهِ سَقَرْ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سَقَرْ لَا تُبْقِي وَلَا تَذَرْ لَوَّاحَةٌ لِلْبَشَرِ عَلَيْهَا 19. I will throw him into the scorching fire. And what will explain to you what the scorching fire is? It spares nothing and leaves nothing. It scorches the flesh of humans. There are 19 in charge of it. عَلَيْهَا 19. There are 19 in charge, keepers of hellfire. خَزَنَةُ جَهَنَّمْ. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Muddathir, right, highlighting that these angels are safeguarding it. Now, the question is rhetorical, right? سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا. The keepers of hellfire, the keepers of Jahannam, are going to ask these non-believers as they're being thrown into hellfire, أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ, didn't a warner come to you? And this is going to add to their immense feelings of regret, remorse, sorrow, loss, and failure. that if you had just heeded that warning, if you had just listened to that warning, if you had humbled yourself and accepted the truth, you would not experience this humiliation and this punishment today. تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ. Jahannam, hellfire, is almost bursting in fury and rage. كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ. Every time a group is thrown or cast into it, سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا. Its keepers will ask them, أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ. Didn't a warner come to you? تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ. وصل اللهم على نبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.